Once again to Shabest online tutorial. In today's tutorial, we're going to learn how to provide a solution to this question on the board. And the question reads, evaluate integral of 1 all over root x dx from the interval of 0 to 4. So we're going to integrate this with respect to x using the interval. The lower limit is 0, then to the upper limit, which is 4. So solution. The first thing we need to do is to rewrite the question. So we're asked to evaluate integral of 1 all over root x from the interval of 0 to 4 with respect to x. So the next thing we're going to do is to simplify this before we integrate. We're going to simplify this function 1 all over root x. So we're going to have integral of 0 to 4. In place of 1 all over root s, we're going to have 1 over, if you have root of s, remember, according to law of indices, root x can also be written as x to the power of 1 over 2. This is equivalent to this. So we are going to replace root x as x to the power of 1 over 2. So in this place, we are going to have 1 over x to the power of 1 over 2 dx. And also the next thing we are going to do is to still wait further to simplify this function before we integrate. So we are going to have integral from 0 to 4, 1 all over x to the power of half. Recall, if you have 1 all over x, if you take the reciprocal, it can also be written as x to the power of minus 1. So if you have 1 all over x squared, it can also be written as x to the power of minus 2. So in this case that we have 1 all over x to the power of half. So if you have 1 over x to the power of half in this case, so it can also be written as x to the power of minus 1 over 2 minus half. So we are going to replace the whole of this as x to the power of minus 1 over 2. So we are going to have, instead of 1 all over x to the power of minus 2, we are going to replace this x to the power of minus 1 over 2, then dx. Now we can wait further to integrate this with respect to x. And remember, in integration, it's just an opposite of differentiation. We are going to add 1 to the power of x because we are differentiating, we are integrating with respect to x. Then the whole power will bring it that as denominator. So we are going to have, you open bracket, x minus 1 over 2. If you add 1 to it, we are going to have plus 1. Then over, you bring the whole of the power to the denominator, minus 1 over 2 plus 1. Then you close the bracket. And the lower limit is from 0 and the upper limit is 4. So now the next thing we are going to do is to substitute the limit. Anywhere we see x, we replace the limit. And always remember to start from the upper limit, which is 4, before the lower limit. So we are going to have, if you substitute 4 here, in place of x, is going to be 4 to the power of minus 1 over 2 plus 1, then over minus 1 over 2 plus 1. So you close the bracket, then minus. So now we are going to substitute the lower limit, which is 0. So in place of x here is going to be 0 to the power of minus 1 over 2 plus 1 over minus 1 over 2 plus 1. So we are successfully substitute both the lower and the upper limit of this function. So the next thing we are going to do is to simplify this expression. So if you have 4 to the power of minus 1 over 2, first thing we need to do is to simplify the power. The power is minus 1 over 2. So if you have minus 1 over 2 plus 1, you know this one can also be written as 1 over 1. It will still give us 1. Then you take the LCM. LCM of 2 and 1, it will give us 2. Then 2 divided by 2, it will be 1. Then 1 multiplied by minus 1, it will give us minus 1. Then plus 2 divided by 1 is 2. Then 2 multiplied by 1, it will give me 2, which should be equal to minus 1 plus 2 is going to give us positive 1, then over 2. So therefore, minus half plus 1 is going to give us positive half. So in this power, we can replace minus half plus 1 as 1 over 2 from this simplification. So we're going to have 4 to the power of 1 over 2 over, this is the same thing here, 1 over 2. Then you close the bracket, then minus, 0 to the power of everything is still 0. Then 0 divided by any number, it will still give us 0. So in the right hand side of this expression is equal to 0. So the next thing is to simplify this. 4 to the power of half is going to give us 2. Then over 1 divided by 2 is 0 0.5. 0 0.5. Then minus 0. So the next thing is to divide 2 by 0 0.5. 2 divided by 0 0.5 is going to give us positive 4 minus 0. So you can use your calculator to test. 2 divided by 0 0.5, it will give us 4, then minus 0. And 4 minus 0 is equal to 4. So the integral of this function with respect to x is equal to positive 4. Thanks for watching, and please follow for more, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel.